ago, Canada was a very important ally to the US. This was not simply in words, but in deeds. On this NSP short, Michel Maisonneuve provides proof that we used to be somebody.
At the beginning of October, so 9/11, right, September 11th, and then the beginning of October, General Hainaut, who was the Chief of Defense Staff at the time, said, I need to send somebody to Tampa, to the headquarters of Central Command, commanded by a guy called Tommy Franks at the time, 4-star U.S. general. And I need to send somebody to offer packages to the U.S. for the coalition of the willing in the fight against terrorism. So he says this to Greg Madison. Greg says, I can send Maisonneuve, and of course, very happy to go. And so he sends me and a guy from the Air Force and a guy from the and a 1-star from the Air Force and a 1-star from the Navy. So the three of us go down there, and we arrive on the 3rd of October. And are met by the 2IC, the second in command to Tommy Franks, a guy called Rifle DeLong, General DeLong, a Marine guy, big gruff guy, picks me up, and we end up going down in a Challenger, and we land right there at MacDill, right, Air Force Base. Anyway, and so I go to meet Tommy Franks. We hit it off. A great guy, cigar smoker. So we end up smoking a cigar together. Very, very cool guy. And so for the time we're there, we're negotiating. Well, not negotiating. We're saying, okay, what can we offer? What would the U.S. like? And I'm corresponding back to Canada and on the DCDS side and saying, okay, what kind of packages? So one of the first things we did was we rerouted a ship that had been with the Stanhope Foreland, the Navy, the standing naval group, and so on. So we're looking at, okay, can we send a battalion group? What can we send? And we're discussing packages that Canada could provide to the war, and so we're working flat out during the whole day, kind of thing, and then eventually on the 7th of October. 7th of October was a Sunday. So the 6th of October, we go into the, Tommy Franks would have a normal meeting, 9:00 meeting of his staff. And so he'd been a U-shaped table, and Tommy's in the middle. And on the right side is a sign that says Canada. The left side is a sign that says UK. And then beside it is, Australia. And then all the 2-star U.S. generals and admirals who are on the joint staff, the heads of the different heads. So I mean, Canada's right there. We're an important part, and I'm sitting beside Tommy Franks, and every morning at 9:00, and then on the 6th of October, which is a Saturday, I'm sitting there. We're waiting for Franks. He comes in and he's wearing flip-flops and shorts and a Hawaiian shirt. He says, we've been working flat out for 3 weeks now. He said, planning this thing, and I've been telling these guys they should relax a little bit. So today was so anyway, we go ahead and do the normal morning brief. And the next day is the Sunday, and there isn't supposed to be no meeting at 9:00. So I say to my 2 1-stars, I say, okay, tomorrow. It's Sunday. I said, let's come in civvies, and I'd like to go to church, and then we can maybe do a bit of sightseeing, but we'll work. But come in civvies. So yeah, good idea. So the next day I come in there at 8:00, and then I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt and chinos, and a young corporal pops his head in the office, says, "Oh, actually, General Franks wants to have a meeting at 9:00. Okay, so. You know where this is going.
Yeah, well.
So I walk in, and of course they're all assembled except for Franks, and they're all in full combat uniforms, and I'm in my Hawaiian shirt. So I sit down at my place, a little bit sheepish, and notice that by VTC on the screen in front of us is Donald Rumsfeld and all the commanders deployed in the mission area. So and then walks in Tommy Franks, fully dressed, of course, in his combats, and he sits beside us, and he sits beside me at the head of the table and says, he said, at noon today, the first Tomahawk land attack missiles are going to land on Kabul. Holy crap! This is the start of the war. And so Rumsfeld says, by VTC says, I'm sorry, President Bush wanted to be here, but he was pulled away at the last minute. But he asked me to pass on, your best, best of luck and everything. And Tommy Franks proceeds to go to all the commanders on the ground. Is everything okay? Are we ready to go? Everything's fine. Yep. Everything's good to go. A1. And so meeting ends, I run back to my office, and we had the Stu 3 telephones. I don't know, do they still have them? Those secure telephones?
Whatever the current version of it is, but they were in use up to not too long ago. Yeah.
Anyway, there's telephones with a secure key, and you had to, Anyway, so I call General Hainaut on the Stu 3. We just got the word that at noon today, hostilities will begin. And so he said, great, I'm going to call the Prime Minister. So General Hainaut apparently called the Prime Minister. And I heard later, and in fact, General Hainaut himself told me that he spoke to Mr. Chrétien, and Chrétien said to him, oh, well, that's probably why George Bush wants to talk to me at 11 o'clock. So Canada, because of our presence there, and, the Canadian forces were well ensconced in the U.S. Mission, managed to get a lot of credit, and the Canadian forces got the credit of advising the government before the actual operation. So that was again, a very historical moment. I mean, you're sitting there and you know that, it's going to be the start of a huge operation, a huge campaign. And so anyway, I think a day later, 2 days later, we repatriated back. I left one of the guys there, or maybe he went back later, but we came back to Canada, and things went on, and it was a pretty high time in those days. Yeah.